We were on vacation. Beautiful island, crystal clear water, too much sun. It was paradise. Boris, my best friend, insisted we explore hidden coves. He was always the adventurous one. "We'll rent a dinghy," he said. It sounded like a good idea at the time. "It'll be an adventure," he said. Famous last words. Boris, I learned, couldn't navigate a bathtub. It was a disaster waiting to happen. After 2 hours puttering in circles, we found ourselves alarmingly far from our resort. "At least the sunset's nice," I offered, trying to stay positive. Boris, bless his heart, was studying our crumpled cocktail napkin map with the intensity of a heart surgeon. Then, disaster. The motor sputtered, coughed, and died. We were stranded. We were officially, utterly, ridiculously lost. No hope in sight. Sunset faded. Stars emerged. My stomach rumbled. "We'll just sleep on the dinghy," Boris announced, ever the optimist. The dinghy, I should mention, was the size of a bathtub, and about as comfortable. Picture this. 2 grown men, limbs tangled, trying to find a comfortable position on a bouncy, inflatable raft. "This," I grumbled, "is not what I had in mind for island paradise." Boris, already snoring softly, seemed completely unfazed. I, on the other hand, spent the next hour battling rogue waves and a growing sense of dread. The night was not without incident. The sea was calm, the stars were twinkling, and the moon cast a silvery glow over the water. It was the kind of night that lulled you into a false sense of security. Suddenly, a rogue wave splashed me awake, drenching me in cold, salty water. I gasped, disoriented and shivering. Disoriented, I reached for my flashlight, my fingers fumbling in the dark. The beam of light cut through the night, revealing the chaos around me. Instead of the flashlight, my hand grasped something cold, hard, and very much alive. My heart raced as I realized it was moving. I yelped, flinging the offending creature across the dinghy. It flew through the air, landing with a thud. It landed with a thud on Boris, who slept on, blissfully unaware of the chaos unfolding around him. Turns out, it was a crab. A large, very cranky crab, its claws clicking menacingly in the dim light. The crab scuttled around our makeshift bed, clicking its claws as if to assert its dominance over our tiny vessel. We spent the next hour trying to evict our unwelcome guest, chasing it around the dinghy with whatever we could find. Let's just say I now have a newfound respect for crustaceans. They are far more resilient and cunning than I ever imagined, and a phobia of anything that goes click-clack in the dark. The night had turned from serene to surreal, leaving me with a story I would never forget. Section 4. Stars above, tummy rumbles below. The stars, I'll admit, were beautiful. They sparkled like diamonds scattered across a black velvet canvas, each one a tiny beacon of light in the vast darkness. Millions of twinkling lights against the velvet sky. It was a sight that could make anyone feel small and insignificant, yet somehow connected to the universe. Romantic, right? Not so much when your stomach is performing a drum solo. The serene beauty of the night was constantly interrupted by the loud growls and grumbles emanating from my midsection. Earlier, we devoured our snacks, a bag of stale chips and a melted chocolate bar. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but now, I was paying the price for that impulsive decision. Now, with each rumble of my stomach, I regretted that impulsive decision. The discomfort was growing, and I couldn't help but feel a pang of regret for not packing something more substantial. "Boris," I whispered, "are you hungry?" My voice was barely audible, but I hoped he would hear me and share in my misery. No response, just gentle snores. Boris was fast asleep, completely oblivious to my plight. His peaceful slumber only made my situation feel more isolating. Typical. I spent the rest of the night fantasizing about cheeseburgers, French fries, and all the delicious foods I couldn't have. My mind wandered to the taste of a juicy burger, the crispiness of fries, and the satisfaction of a full stomach. Anything other than lukewarm water and the knowledge that I was sharing my bed with a potentially rabid crab. The night seemed endless, and the discomfort in my stomach was a constant reminder of my poor choices. Section 5. Never trust a map drawn on a cocktail napkin. Sunrise brought relief, and a rescue boat. The golden hues of dawn painted the sky, signaling the end of our nightmarish ordeal. As the rescue boat approached, we couldn't help but feel a wave of gratitude wash over us. Turns out, we were only a few miles off course. It was a small consolation, considering the hours of panic and uncertainty we had endured. The vast ocean had played tricks on our minds, making us believe we were lost forever. "You guys had us worried!" The rescue crew laughed. Their laughter was infectious, breaking the tension that had gripped us all night. It was a reminder of the camaraderie and the human spirit that thrives even in the most challenging situations. "We thought you'd sail to South America with that map," they joked, pointing at the crude drawing that had led us astray. It was a moment of levity that we desperately needed. Boris, ever the charmer, just grinned and patted his trusty cocktail napkin. He had an uncanny ability to find humor in the direst of situations, and this was no exception. Me? I learned a valuable lesson that night. Never trust a man with a bad sense of direction and a penchant for adventure. It's one thing to seek thrills, but it's another to do so without proper preparation. Especially if that adventure involves sleeping on a dinghy the size of a bathtub. The cramped quarters and the constant rocking of the boat made for a sleepless night. Oh, and always pack extra snacks. Hunger can turn an already stressful situation into an unbearable one. A few extra granola bars can make all the difference. You never know when you'll be sharing your dinner with a crab. In the end, it's the unexpected moments that make the best stories.